Hi, this is Karen. I'm with inspiredbygram.com. Welcome to my Simple Stamping Sunday card. This is a Christmas card we'll be making today. It is from Winter Woods stamp set. And as you can see, I'm going to teach you how to do first and second generation stamping. And then I've already die cut this little piece of snow here, but we'll be stamping on it. And on the inside, thinking of you this season with a nice little spray. All right, so let's get started here. The ink is going to be Shaded Spruce. Only one ink we'll be using. The stamp set is the Winter Woods, and I'm going to be using this tree here, this little branch. We'll be using Thinking of You, but on the front of the card, I'm going to be using a sentiment, Peace and Happiness from Itty Bitty Christmas. All right, so that's our stamp sets. Now to create the snow here, if you can see right here, this has been die cut. I used a piece of Very Vanilla and it was cut 1 by 5 1/4. So what I did was I took this die here that resembles a snowbank, and I die cut it out. Again, this was 1 by 5 1/4. Okay, and it doesn't die cut it all the way to the edge, so you'll just have to use your snips to cut it off, but it does create this nice little snow bank that looks like this here, okay? Then I'm gonna stamp on this area right there. Okay, so let's get all of our supplies ready to go. You'll definitely need some scrap paper because we'll be stamping off and on. All right, and let me get the Shaded Spruce all ready to go. Now this here is the stamp, the tree. It's mounted on an E block, so it's quite large and heavy. So what you're gonna wanna do is you're gonna take your ink pad to the stamp, okay? And just tap it around there. You can see that all the ink is on there. The first generation, I'm gonna stamp right smack in the middle. And just gonna move my fingers around because it's quite a large area on the stamp. And that's a gorgeous, nice balsam fir tree. So now to get that second generation ink, there's still ink left on your stamp. I'm just gonna stamp it right over there. Okay, so that's nice lighter shade of Shaded Spruce. Now we're gonna do this all over again. I'm gonna ink up the stamp, and I'm gonna go with a first generation over here. And I don't really care about this area here because we're gonna mask it with that snowbank. Now you can see where I stamped on this Very Vanilla panel. This is cut 3 3/4 by 5, and a little bit came off onto the scrap paper. Now if you look at your ink, your stamp, there's a section here that was not touched. So I would not recommend stamping right now because you're gonna get this line that looks like this. All right, so can you see this? This is like first generation, second, third generation, okay? So that looks like a real hot mess. So we don't want that to happen. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna re-ink our stamp. And now I want a second generation right there. So I'm just gonna basically stamp off onto that scrap paper. And then I'm going to stamp right over here. Okay, so that looks really good. Now I wanna add one more tree over here because I like odd numbers. And odd numbers are a little bit more pleasing to the eye than even numbers. So we're just gonna ink that right back up, and we'll just put another tree right there. Okay, so that is all set and ready to go. The inside of our card, again, looks like this, Thinking of You this season. So let's stamp that. This is on a Very Vanilla, and it's cut 5 1/2 by 8 1/2 and scored already at 4 1/4. So we'll open it up like this, and I've got Thinking of You this season. All right, and now let's just make this a little bit more fancy with that branch. And we'll just stamp that right off to the side and call it good. Now the envelope looks like this. So let's create that. I've got my Very Vanilla medium envelope. We're gonna stamp that branch first, right in a corner. Then we're going to take the Peace and Happiness from Itty Bitty Christmas, and we're going to stamp it right along the edge there. And then we're going to stamp it one more time on the side of the envelope. So that makes a nice little decoration for your envelope. Okay, so that's already done, and we just need to assemble. So I've got my stamp and seal here, and I want my craft silicone sheet because I love using this on my surface. All right, so what we need to do, actually we have one more to stamp, is that Peace and Happiness one more time on that snowbank. So what I like to do is I actually like to stamp it once I have it on there, just for a better placement, and I feel comfortable that I can do that. So let's just add our adhesive, just like that. And you notice my adhesive went onto the mat, but it's not stuck there. So that's another reason why I like to save my work surface on my desk so that I don't get adhesive all over it. All right, so we've got that good. Now you notice I did cut this a little bit too long, and that's because we want to cut the edge off. So I'm just going to take my paper snips and trim that right off. All right, so that's all set. Now let's take this panel and we're going to add it to the shaded spruce. I'm just going to add some adhesive there and there. The stamp and seal is really, really sticky, so you don't need to use the normal amount of adhesive that you're probably used to using. All right, so now that looks pretty good. Now I can eye this a lot better. So I'm going to take the Peace and Happiness, and I'm just going to stamp right down there on that snowbank. Looks really nice. Now let's bring in our Very Vanilla card base. Make sure it is going the correct way. And this, let's see, the shaded spruce was cut 3 7/8 by 5 1/8. I like that it gives a little bit more of an edge around here so you can see your card base. And then as you can see, when I started to use my adhesive, the tape runner did not start. Okay, if you have troubles with that, that's another reason why I love using the silicone craft mat. Just because when I start, I can start just off the edge, just like maybe less than 1/4 of an inch, and it advances for me. So if you struggle with the stamp and seal, that's what I would highly recommend you doing. So now I'm just going to add this top layer to the front of the card. Okay, now the one final step that I really liked, I added here, I don't know if you can see this on camera or not, but what I did was I used my fine tip glue pen, and then I used Dazzling Diamonds, and I know that is retired, but you must have some like white glitter in your craft room, or you might even have Dazzling Diamonds still left, like I do. So I'm going to show you how to create that. This is the fine tip glue pen. I've got the cap already off, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to squeeze the bottle and dab it throughout the trees, just going like more or less a zigzag. Just like this. Okay, there's beads of adhesive here, and I'm going to bring it to the camera once I'm done. Not sure if you can see it or not, but I will show you just in case. You can see there's little fine little dots of glue on there, so that's still sticky. I have my Dazzling Diamonds in my container here. And I've got a little spoon. Okay. This will get your desk pretty glittery, but it all washes away. So we're just going to sprinkle this all throughout your card. And we're going to do this one more time over here. What's happening is that this Dazzling Diamonds glitter is attaching to that ink, or the the adhesive from that fine tip glue pen. Okay, and then you can see that now it's all nice and glittery. Down here where the snow is, it's not stuck, but if you just kind of just tap it like this, most of it will go away. So hopefully you can see this on camera where it's really glittery. I know my photography, my photos cannot capture this, but trust me, it looks really, really nice. Okay, so get all that glitter off here. And let's bring in the card. So the inside, it looks like this. And then here's my other one I made. And then of course we have a matching envelope because you need to have an envelope when you mail a card. So we've got our very vanilla envelope to match. So I hope you learned something new, one about full strength stamping and second generation stamping as well, and how you can make a die cut and then stamp on it as well. And of course, don't forget your envelope. So for all the supplies I showcased today, you can reach me at inspiredbygram.com to place your order. Thanks so much.